I just need to let you guys know that there were a few issues with the signal here and there in the video. So I tried my best to make sure that it's as seamless as possible, and I've also added some subtitles that you watch out for, especially in places where you may not hear things clearly. Enjoy the video, take something from it, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let's talk about mental health. Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Talk Mental Health Africa. Today we're doing an interview with Chimwemwe Chapasuka. Did I say that correctly? Welcome.
It's right. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience so they get to know you?
All right. Like she said, my name is Chimwemwe Chapasuka, and I'm a mental health advocate, a counselor, and therapist. So any mental health issues, pretty much I'm your go-to person.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. So let's just dive into the interview and all the questions that I have for you. So what made you decide to get into counseling and mental health advocacy?
I realized there was a gap here in Malawi when it comes to mental health. So it was just me trying to take my own initiative to say, what can I do and how can I help people and how can I people try to create the awareness on the issues that are happening when it comes to mental health.
And how long have you done counseling and mental health advocacy?
Yeah. I've done counseling for a year now, but for mental health advocacy, I've been doing it for 2 years.
And how has that been going for you so far?
It's been a run, but the stereotypes are still there, but I think we're getting to a point where people are understanding these issues. So it's just about keeping pushing and trying to say, this is what I'm trying to do. You need to understand what's going on. So some people would take it, others won't, but the few that take it, then that's enough.
As long as it's going.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Do you have any other hobbies, projects, or activities that you're passionate about?
This is one of the easiest questions, but I never. Okay, I think I like to read sometimes, just sometimes. Yeah, and pretty much just hang out with my friends and have a good time.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. I sent out the thing. If there were any questions that they would like to ask you for the interview, and one was wondering, what do you love about being a counselor? What are the nice things about being a counselor? What do you enjoy about it?
For me, I think it's just being able to help somebody, So I think that's what keeps me going most of the times, because I enjoy doing it, because I think there's certain people who are just really helping, same as doctors, nurses, people that enjoy when they're giving more to the society. So I think being able to help somebody who is distressed, I think that's what I really enjoy about this.
That's really wonderful. That's a good thing to keep in mind. I can understand how stressful it can be trying to help people with all these issues.
Yeah,
that's really
exactly. Yeah,
good mentality.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
What advice would you give to people who do psychology and mental health advocacy when it comes to maybe their careers or how best to manage themselves in the field?
Okay. One thing I tell people, it's not easy, because sometimes it even gets overwhelming for me, because you start to wonder, this thing is really happening. You take your clients' problems as your own. So I think it's also focus on you have to keep mine in check, because you end up being the one depressed at the end of the day, because it's too much, because we hear a lot of things that are happening. So listen, but don't take it too personal. Be more empathetic rather than sympathetic on these issues.
Yeah. I did come across something that...
Don't start feeling sorry for your clients. Just try to put yourself in your...
Oh no, carry on, sorry.
Yes. I think that's what I can say on that. Oh, I know, I was even done. Yeah, that's what I can say on that.
Okay, well, I have come across that it is very important to separate yourself from
Yeah.
the issues of other people. Because yes, we have our own stresses in life, and pile on other people's issues on top of yours. It can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I guess general rule in psychiatry,
Exactly.
psychology, that separate your personal life from your job, like how doctors, all these other people in the profession, which help people. So, what are your thoughts on mental health in Malawi? That's something I really want to gauge your opinion
on. It's horrible. I think that's what I can say. But I think now people are becoming more aware. So I think we're going to get there, but it's going to be a long process. It's going to take time. But I think several people are really trying to create that awareness now than it was before. And I think it's just the mentality people have when it comes to mental health. I think everybody just assumes it's that people need to know. So I think us as advocates, we need to keep pushing to create their awareness. Because even for the government, doesn't even really try hard enough when it comes to mental health issues. And like I was reading somewhere where it says it's only 1% of the government budget that goes into mental health, which is very little. And these are issues that everybody deals with. You don't always have to be physically ill to show that you have a mental disability, but it's just 1%. So I think pushing and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, we definitely need to keep pushing, and the government definitely doesn't take it seriously. You're telling me about the whole 1%, and recently there was an interview with a government official, and one of the interviewers asked, with the pandemic, seeing how difficult it is for people, how are you guys combating?
Yeah, exactly. And I think,
and he couldn't answer the question. So that's
yeah. And I think with the pandemic now, people are realizing, because so many things have happened and so many people have been really affected. So even the pandemic is even helping us to open an eye on mental health issues, because a lot has happened and not everybody is able to cope. That's when they realize that, mental health is an issue for real.
Yeah. It's a very big thing. So how do you think we could combat the problem? How do we spread more awareness and I guess encourage the government to take it more seriously?
Tough part, but I think these private institutions, I think they can start, and us as advocates, we can also play a part and be able to write good proposals on how we can present to the government and say these are the issues that are happening. But we need a lot of stakeholders to be able to push for it to actually be a thing. So as advocates, let's try, and these private sectors will come together, and I think we can be able to help.
Yeah, we do need to try and put our heads together and work together. But I think the major issue is funding, because I know a lot of us, I think, create our own practices and do our own things, but now funding is also another issue. So how do we even get funding?
It really is.
Yeah, so how do we get it? We're awareness, we're talking about it, but how do we push get enough funding to create these buildings and create these new practices? Because of course you can't rely on the government at the moment. How do we find our own resources to get to that point?
I think even the private sectors, they don't even make enough to even just have clients, or even for myself, who can say I make enough to say but I think the organizations that are there that can be able, we have Save the Children, just some NGOs, and I think they would be open-minded to issues like this, because I think organizations like that really take mental health seriously. So now this is another sector we can also look at, despite the government.
And then how do we engage more with youth in spreading mental health awareness?
For me, for the initiative that I've done, was we have workshops. So initially we had with parents to just let them know about these issues, because I think the generation take this thing seriously sometimes. But so they came through, and for the youth as well, it's same thing. So just have this workshop whereby we can be able to talk to them and say, here, we're trying to create this awareness. And I think the youth, when it comes to mental health, they are more open-minded to it, because I think they're seeing these things already. I think there's so much happening. Yeah, so I think if I was to compare the youth and the older generation, youth are more open-minded to mental health issues. So I think the workshops are a start.
Do you think they're more open-minded because of social media? I feel like we're the ones who delve into social media a lot more and we're a lot more exposed. Could that be one of the main reasons as to why there's such a difference between the generations?
Yeah, and I think it's like the things we watch, watching these shows, this series, they're talking about things like that. So it's when we realize that, like, oh, this is an actual thing, and you even think, oh, so this is really happening. It's because we're exposed to it. So we're able to know. Oh, now I think I'm depressed. Well, other people they're just like, I'm just sad. So we are able to separate what is and what's not. You're having an anxiety, you're having a panic attack. So we've watched these things in the stuff we watch, what we're exposed to on social media.
And then how do we further break into older generations? Those ones that are the more challenging ones to get through to, because they have certain mindsets and stereotypes from back in the day that they seem to have carried forward. I'm sorry for this overgeneralization, but that's just how I perceive things at this point. So how do we further expand on these issues and involve older generations and just expand that understanding for older individuals?
Yeah, and I think that's the initiative too, because I think the first workshop was for parents, because I knew the youth know these issues. So we can start from somewhere with them. This other generation, we have to start from scratch. So several parents came, they showed up, and they actually said, oh, that really makes sense. Now they'll be enlightened to say, oh, so these are things that are happening. Several things are starting to make sense more once we talked about it. So I think that's a start for me, for the part that I did, is to have this with the parents. And I think you should have this thing. And if we continue doing that, me and other therapists, we can be able to try to create that awareness to the older generation.
That's a good move. Creating communication and conversations around these issues. That's a really good way to push forward with it. What would your advice be for individuals who deal with mental health disorders?
What I always tell people is there's light at the end of the tunnel, because when you're going through it, you feel like you're in this dark place, but it's going to end. If you're getting the help you need, and if in yourself you say, I'm going to get over this, it's going to be a process. But if you're trying, then that's the first thing to go with.
Okay.
And you're not alone. Yes.
Definitely. And then what advice would you give to people who live with individuals who have mental health conditions? I understand that if you're taking care of somebody with a severe condition, it can be like terrible anxiety or Tourette's, anything like that. It's challenging to try and take care of that person. So what advice would you give to somebody who's trying to take care of somebody with a significant mental health disorder?
All right. So what I would tell people that take care of these people with these mental health disabilities, it's to never give up on them. Because if they give up on them, then that's even worse. Now they'll also give up on themselves. So at least when somebody else is trying on your part, you also have that spirit in you to say, also try. So don't give up on them, because they need you, and help them to see it through. Yeah,
that is super important. Well, thank you for sharing and for opening your time up for this interview. Is there anything that you'd like to say? Is anything that you want the audience to get into?
Okay. There is this website. It's called Therapy Route. So I think if anybody is going through something, they can go on there and find a therapist they need to have a conversation with of their choice. I'm also on that platform, and I also work on my own as a therapist. So you can also always contact me on my number 099 4761 884. So pretty much I think that's it.
All right, thank you so much. If you guys like this interview, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe. Feel free to get into the website. If you need a counselor, she's available. The contacts will be there, the video, and I will leave them in the section as well. Thank you guys. Let's talk mental health Africa.